Congresswoman, last year, more than 6 million voters in California actually voted for Donald Trump. He won nearly 40% of the vote in your state. But if you have your way, your party has your way, there will just be 4 of the 52 seats in the U.S. House delegation occupied by a Republican. So I'm wondering, are you concerned at all that those 6 million voters could be disenfranchised in your state?
We are going to put whatever map is agreed to on the ballot. California voters will make that decision, not our delegation and not the legislature. But going back to my first comment, we did not initiate this. Trump and the Republicans are not only targeting Texas, they're now talking about Ohio, perhaps Indiana, Florida, to try and rig this election. And we're not just going to sit back and do nothing in response to that.
And I understand your argument that you are responding to Texas, but look, if both parties go down this road and gerrymander district after district and state after state, as it seems that's where we're headed, it's general election voters and it's independent voters, Congresswoman, who could actually lose out here because the politicians are choosing their voters on which voters should participate in those elections. I'm wondering, are you concerned? Isn't that dangerous for democracy?
We are for independent commissions. In fact, I'm the author of the bill in the House of Representatives to require independent commissions in every state. When Democrats were in the majority, we actually included independent redistricting in our big reform measure, H.R. 1. Not a single Republican voted for that. So, Democrats are for that, but it's the Republicans that have initiated this. If they stop, we'd be happy to stop and go to independent commissions in every state.
And you mentioned that. So essentially, you're going against what you believe, are you not? And pushing this plan in California. You've been a champion on the independent commission.
What I believe is that we should not be a punching bag for Donald Trump. The state of California is losing big because of Trump policies. He has refused to provide the disaster relief that every state gets. He's cut millions of Californians away from their health insurance. He took nutrition programs away from schools. He just reduced funding for science projects in every university in the state of California. So we're going to stand up for Californians. He needs a break, and that break will be Democrats controlling the House of Representatives after next year's election.
And Congresswoman, there's a lot of red states that haven't imposed the same kind of limits on gerrymandering that many blue states have. But now, as we're in this arms race of sorts, do you think it was a mistake for Democrats to enact some of those restrictions and essentially unilaterally disarm?
Well, we were happy with independent commissions. And as I say, we were trying to institute that across the United States. The Republicans stopped us from doing that when we were in the majority. The Senate blocked it. If we gain control again, which I hope we do, I would like to institute independent commissions for House seats in every state. That would be a goal of mine. But right now, it's not an option for Democrats to just be a punching bag for Donald Trump.
So Congressman, do you think that the outcome of this fight that's happening right now in state after state, this redistricting fight to redraw these House lines, do you think that this will decide the next House majority?
I think the voters will decide the next House majority. And I do think, they wouldn't be doing this if they weren't afraid of losing the House.
But this is going to have a huge impact.
This is unpopular.
But this is going to have a huge impact on the next majority, is it not? The outcome of this fight.
They are in trouble because what they're doing is deeply unpopular in the United States. From the tariffs, which is crushing small businesses across the country, raising prices for ordinary Americans, taking health care away from Americans so they can give tax breaks to billionaires. Those are not popular policies. That's why they're engaging in this rigging, because they don't want to be held accountable. Our job is to hold them accountable.
All right. Congressman Zoe Lofgren from California, thank you so much and joining me and sharing your perspective over this very, very significant fight. Thank you so much.